Thank you. We have something very special here for you today. This is the Jaguar iPace. Now what's special about this is a full 100% electric vehicle. It's not a hybrid, it's 100% battery powered. Now to tell us more about it, we have Tony Carter. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you.
Now Tony is a patrol here in Brisbane, and prior to starting at RACQ, Tony was a master tech for Jaguar Land Rover. He's worked for a couple of years here in Australia, and prior to that he worked in the UK. Now Tony is originally from Scotland, so we might have a little bit of trouble understanding him. However, Rod might be able to work his magic and get some subtitles up for us. Are you all right with that, Tony?
No bother, pal.
Great. What more can you tell us about this car, Tony?
Well, like Howard said, this is the Jaguar iPace. It's made in the UK and it's a 400 volt lithium ion powered electric vehicle. It has a twin motor drive system and it's called EV400.
Great stuff. Thanks, Tony. How about we have a look around it? At the front of the car we have the bonnet, or what some people like to call the front trunk or frunk. Now you just pop the button beside the handbrake release there and we'll open it up. Now under here you have room to store your charge cable and not much else, to be honest. You might just have enough room to store some of your favourite beverage. Now underneath here, if you remove this cover, we'll have our 12 volt battery. Electric vehicles still run a 12 volt battery. Now that's to turn on your safety systems before the 400 volt main battery takes over. This particular car actually runs two 12 volts. It has a larger one and a very small one over here. There are 4 fuse locations in the Jaguar iPace. 2 are in the front trunk area, accessed by lifting off the covers either side. Another one under the rear seat, accessed by lifting up the seat base. And the last one is in the driver's side of the rear boot area, behind the access panel. Now this is our charge port, very similar to a fuel flap. Press on it to open it, and your charge cable plugs in there. Now the charge cable locks as soon as you plug it into the vehicle, and to remove it, you have to double press the unlock button on your remote. What else do we have on here, Tony? What's that thing in the corner there?
That wee loop is for the charge door. So if your charge door doesn't open, pull the loop and the door will open.
Great stuff. So it's like a mechanical override for your charge.
Release, yeah.
Yep, perfect. All right.
One of the first things you'll notice about this car is it has funky flush door handles. One way you can operate the handles is by pressing the unlock switch on the key fob and the handles come out. Press the lock switch and they go back in. Another way to operate them is to use the proximity key. As long as it's within 1 metre of the car, push the door handle and the door handle comes out. Push the door handle again and it'll go back in and lock the car. So as you can see here, we've got the range on the dash. It's an impressive 380 kilometres and that's not even at a full charge. Also, the first thing you'll notice is there's no gear selector in here. So to select drive, neutral and reverse, it's all push buttons. Down here on the right, we have a handbrake release, pull to release and push to engage the handbrake. It's the opposite way around from normal vehicles. Also up here, you'll have a handbrake indicator. So when driving an electric vehicle, there's a green ready on the dash. Just like the hybrids, that means the vehicle is good to go. So if you're working on an electric vehicle, be careful when you see this sign.
Moving around to the back of the car, in the luggage compartment, you will see that we don't actually have a spare tyre. It is available as an option, we just don't have one on this vehicle. The only tools we have are the liquid tyre sealant and the towing eye. Doesn't even have a jack or any tools in it. So in the event that you do have a blown tyre, your only option may be a tow truck. In the event that you have to use your towing eye, there's a trick to removing these little covers. You just push on the bottom edge, that allows it to pop out so you don't damage it. So don't use your screwdriver to pick it out. Now, if you have to fit this it's a left-hand thread. Make sure when you put it in that you do it up tight. We have 2 towing eye locations on the back, one on the left, one on the right, and only one on the front.
Okay, so in the event you want to tow this vehicle, thankfully it does come with a shift override. Similar to newer JLR vehicles, it's a black lever. Pull the lever back and lock it in place. This will activate neutral. Okay, so usually when you turn the ignition off, it applies the park brake. So to get around that, here's a top tip for you. Turn the ignition on, put your foot in the brake, and pull and hold the handbrake lever in the release position. Now turn the ignition off and remain holding onto the handbrake lever for about 5 seconds. This will stop the vehicle from applying the park brake and allow you to move the vehicle.
Now in the event that you have to tow this vehicle, you're going to have to use your towing eye at the front. It has aluminium control arms and underneath it has a full body tray, so no other access. Your second point of contact will have to be one of those control arms. While we're having a look at the car on the hoist, you can see it has jacking points on the sill. Just pull these plastic covers down to expose your jacking points. 2 at the front and 2 at the back. You must use the jacking points. Jacking on any other point could potentially damage the high voltage battery under the car.
Okay, to remove the park brake, you need to jack up the car, remove a wheel, and remove the plastic actuator off the back of the caliper. Then the top tip here is to wind the caliper towards the front of the car, and this will release the handbrake and you can move the vehicle.
In the event you need to perform a lockout on the Jaguar iPace, it's a simple tool 30 in and pull the inner door handle. However, it does feature deadlocking if the remote is pressed twice. Now if the vehicle's deadlocked, there is no known method into the vehicle. Now in the event that your key fob doesn't work, Tony's going to show us the top tip on using a mechanical key.
Okay, to access the mechanical key, push the button on the key fob and remove the key. Then to access the key lock, push at the front of the door handle and pull the handle out, revealing the slot for the key. Push the key in and turn it clockwise.
So we're into the car. How do we open this front bonnet when the switch is electronically operated and our 12-volt battery is flat?
Okay, so inside at the driver's kick panel there is a black knob. Okay, turn the knob counterclockwise and there'll be a loop behind the knob. Pull the loop and it will activate the mechanical override for the frunk. Just make sure you push the cable back in or the frunk might not close. So in the event you need to boost start the vehicle, you need to access the 12-volt battery and remove the red cover from the positive terminal. You'll do that with a screwdriver at either side of the red cover, pull it off and attach your memory minder leads to the battery as normal. Just be careful not to short the positive terminal off of the metal earth point next to it. Now hop in the vehicle, start the car. Once you see ready on the dash, the car is running.
So there you have it. That's the full electric Jaguar iPace. A big thank you to Tony Carter for showing us all those top tips. Thanks, Tony.
Right.
Now, if you have any further questions on us, please text them into that number on the screen and it's back to you in the studio.